What's up, you guys? It's 2bricks, and in a little bit of a first for the channel, I am diving into the world of Marvel, and specifically the MCU, to bring you a new MOC today, which is the Age of Ultron edition Hulkbuster Armor. The reason for this set existing is that I saw the new UCS version of same, which has just come out for a retail price of $550 US. And I wasn't, first of all, I was a little bit confused as to why such a set existed, because I thought we'd already gotten a UCS one before, which we did. It was probably about a third of the size. But I thought that one looked really good, and then I thought that the new version that they put out looked significantly less screen accurate in terms of its proportions. There's a lot of issues. People have talked it to death. The shoulders, the chest, the feet. There's a lot of weird little areas, a lot of gaps, and a lot of interesting things about that set. And I understand it's hard to design Lego sets to have them be super duper perfect and also efficient on the parts and such and etc. But I just felt like, what if we just had a nice looking minifig scale version that you could put an Iron Man into, which is the whole kind of gimmick of the $550 one, is you can put the gigantic Iron Man figure that they're currently selling into the chest cavity of it and have it act like a Hulkbuster. And I thought, well, let's just do a minifig scale one. So I just kind of started tinkering and experimenting. The main thing that I was determined to do is to not use the dome head that came with the official set. As you can see, I ended up changing my mind on that, and I'll explain why a little bit later on. To kind of, I'll talk you through my thought process and stuff on some of the design elements of this. And then, yeah, I just want to kind of give you guys a full tour of the MOC today. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a what you see is what you get. There's a few kind of notable action features and things that I'm going to show you in a little bit here. But yeah, this is pretty much my attempt at bringing the MCU version of the Ultron Hulkbuster to life at this scale. So instructions for this model are currently available at my Rebrickable store. You can check out the link down in the description for that. It will give you a PDF step-by-step building guide. It will give you the full parts list that you'll need to be able to easily purchase the Lego elements that you need to build this if you don't have them already. And then it helps to support the channel. So I really appreciate all the purchases that you guys make. It really helps me to continue to make awesome content for you guys. So that is, again, much, much appreciated, and I thank you for that. So let's just kind of dive in and take a look at all the different features and elements of this set. And yeah, we'll just kind of get into it. All right, so first thing we'll do is we'll take a look at all the different elements of the Hulkbuster here, and then I will talk you through some of the design challenges and design kind of thought process that I went through when I made this set. So the first and most important thing about this is that you can lift up the head dome here, and it can actually extend way back because it's on these kind of skeletal arms here. And then you can pull the entire chest cavity forward, and it gives you access to your Iron Man figure. So obviously in the movie, the Hulkbuster is an exoskeleton that Tony Stark wears on top of his regular Iron Man armor to supplement it to be able to fight the Hulk, should he ever go rogue, which of course he did in that movie. So yeah, this, the suit is designed to accommodate any standard size Iron Man figure. So here's one that I got in a recent set that I bought specifically for this to kind of pilfer the pieces for. And then you can also switch out for the older style of helmets, which are much bulkier and chunkier. Those will work as well. So you can just kind of, see there, it fits absolutely perfectly. So no problems at all with that. And then Iron Man does have a nice kind of chest cavity area in here to inhabit. I put a couple of additional pieces in here to just kind of act as guides for where the center of the figure should be lined up. And then I just put some studs around the area there to kind of hug a little closer to his head. And then you can see here on the inside, it's just kind of nicely finished off as much as possible and closed up, and it gives you that good look there when it's all closed up. It doesn't really have any gaps or anything like that. It looks very solid and chunky. That was kind of the main thing that I wanted to achieve with this design, is something that feels very, very solid and not flimsy, and it looks like it could stand up to the punishment of fighting the Hulk. So that was kind of one of the main things that I wanted to hit, and I think I got it pretty decently well here. He looks very kind of ready to brawl. you know, not a ton of gaps and stuff, and the gaps that are there are kind of intentional and are part of the overall design the way that it should be. So looking at all the different articulatable elements, here in the back we have these kind of adjustable angle thrusters here. So the whole back end of the Hulkbuster is designed to be able to take a punch from the Hulk and then kind of use all these different retro boosters to stop the momentum and you know, kind of get back into the fight quickly. So we have these ones that are angled at 45 degrees here on the back. We have these on the side which kind of point out, and I've just used some clear cheese wedge pieces on top of some white studs for that. And then we have these ones on the back of the calves. So all of that kind of comes together, and then these little elements in the back are designed to be kind of these clamps that would just lock into the ground to give, again, to just give the Hulkbuster that little bit of an edge while fighting this incredibly powerful being that we know as the Hulk. So then we have adjustable shoulder pauldrons here. So I wanted to include that because whatever angle the arms are at, if you want to lift the arms up really high, you want to be able to get those out of the way, but then you also want to be able to kind of tuck them down so that they look like they're, you know, armored up and protecting the suit. So yeah, that was important to me. And you know, I thought it was a smart way to attach it was to attach it to the actual arms themselves, as opposed to on the UCS set that we just got, they've attached it to the torso. So all it can do is kind of fold up and down from this pivot point right here. But then I feel like, you know, it's really easy for the arms to get away from the shoulder armor that way. So, you know, if you attach it to the arms themselves, then they will follow along. So I think that works pretty well. So each of the arms is attached with a single ball joint here, and then they have hinges for the elbow that kind of allow for a human range of articulation. And then each of the hands is also attached on a ball joint, so it can swivel completely all the way around, so you can angle it however you like, so you can get a lot of flexibility in your fight poses there. And then there's this kind of you know, I guess like a brace piece here that's this large gold element that kind of curves down over the wrists, and I wanted to just have this end part here be flexible so that when you're adjusting the hand pose, it gives you some more room where you can kind of tuck the end of that out of the way, and it kind of serves a double function because then you can kind of angle it down by default as it is shown on the actual movie model. So I think you get the best of both worlds with that. So I think that works really well. And then looking down at the legs, the articulation here starts at the hips with these large ball joint pieces here that keep the legs nice and sturdy and you know, in place, but give a really good wide range of motion here. So you can really get this leg all the way forward or all the way back, and you know, really have some dynamic poses. And what's really cool is into the bottom here, I've built in both a nod to a real thing, which is these sort of boosters that exist on the bottom of the feet so that the Hulkbuster can fly, but it's also a stud hole there where you can actually plug in to a diorama, so you could have a single stud attaching the foot, and then you could get some really, really dynamic running poses where it's really, really booking it, and you know, you don't have to worry about stability because you can just lock it down to the base. Obviously, you still want to balance it, but yeah, I mean, it can actually, there you go, it can actually do that on its own anyway, thanks to those really wide feet. But yeah, as far as like having a permanent diorama, I wanted to include that stud on the bottom, just for, or that anti-stud for that reason. And then yeah, the knees here are also achieved using 2 sets of these hinging plates, which gives it a lot of friction and stability, but a good range of motion there as well. And then finally, the feet are attached with ball joints at the bottom here, so they can rotate again all the way around fully. You can get a good sideways angle on them, and forward and back to a pretty good, impressive degree as well. And because the connection to the ball joints is actually using one of these bar pieces, kind of slotting into a modified Technic brick underneath here, or a modified brick with studs on the side, that means that you can actually pull the feet out a little bit, and you can have even a greater range of flexibility. So if you really want to get like a very extreme forward angle pose there, you can pull this foot bar out a little bit, and that just gives you just a little bit of extra range of motion that you can get out of it as well. So very, very flexible in terms of the posing that you can achieve with this. You can really angle the body forward, look like it's getting ready to really take on, you know, kind of get into a grappling pose. And you know, I think that as far as size relative to a Hulk Big Fig, sorry I don't have one on hand, but one is on the way, it's in the mail. I will basically do a follow-up to show you guys how all that scales, and also to unveil some additional goodies that I'm planning to do alongside of this. But in terms of the scale here, I think it works pretty darn well, and it really looks like it's comparable in terms of the movie model to be able to convincingly take on the Hulk, and still have all of that great detail that you want to see. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this all turned out, and I think it was definitely worth all of the effort that I put into the design process to really try to capture all of those details. I mean, things like, the little gold elements here that wrap around underneath, and then the way that the chest cavity all closes up here and getting the gold elements in there as well. All of that stuff, really hard to capture, but, worth the experimentation, I think, that it took to do it. So there you go. So let me talk through some of the early design struggles that I had and why I ended up using this dome piece instead of a brick built solution like I originally wanted to. So this is what I started out with. Or rather, this is what I ended up with after nearly a full day of building and experimenting and playing around and trying out a million different options. This is as far as I got on a brick-built head for the Hulkbuster, and as you can see, you can kind of tell what it is. You can, well, it doesn't actually fit one of the newer helmets. That was one issue that I had with it, but you can fit it over the top of one of the new style of helmets. Sorry, not the older ones here, the two-part one. So I wanted it to be universal, and I just couldn't figure out a way to capture any sort of meaningful level of resolution at the scale, and also have it be able to fit over the top of a minifigure head like that. So that's the reason that I got this far and no further. And as you can see here, the size 2 just doesn't quite line up. So let me pull off the head real quick. So you can see this is the size the head really wants to be, and obviously we're going like quite a bit larger already with this guy. And I didn't want to scale up the whole thing in order to accommodate this large head. So I decided to research how much this actually costs, because in my head I assumed this was going to be like a $3-4 piece on account of it only having come in 1 or 2 sets, or there's a couple of variations of different Hulkbuster heads with different prints on them. But yeah, I think this specific one only came in the original Hulkbuster Smash Up, I think it was called. And yeah, I assumed it would be like $3-4 for this piece alone. It was 10 cents on Bricklink. So I was like, all right, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to go ahead and get it, and I'm going to place that in here to give it that extra level of authenticity and playability, and just being able to kind of have it really nestle in here nicely amongst all of the rest of the body. It just worked out really well. So I'm glad that I made that decision. I'm glad I wasn't too stubborn, and I'm glad that I ditched this idea, because while this potentially eventually could have been something, it just was never gonna reach the level of detail and fidelity that you can get out of a print there. And as you can see, it's pretty weak. So that was the reason I decided to go with the single piece dome head there. And to give you guys a quick idea of the scale of the currently available sets, so this is my Hulkbuster. This is a very recent Iron Man mech, or at least what's left of it after I pilfered all the pieces to use for this. I actually don't think I ended up using all of this. I think I just stripped it off to put into a pile and see what I had. But anyway, you can see kind of the scale here as far as the height is pretty darn similar. The bulk obviously is a lot less. This is a much cheaper set, of course. But in terms of the availability of parts to make something that is this scale, I was really surprised that I was able to come up with something that feels this authentic to the screen model that was this scale, because I really thought it would have to be significantly larger. So that was a pleasant surprise. And then off here on the left, you can see the recent buildable action figure scale 1 that is, curiously enough, almost exactly to scale with my MIDI scale droid series that I was doing. So really a very sizable figure here. Like it's twice the size of my Hulkbuster. And this is the figure that sits inside of the $550 Hulkbuster set. So I mean, that thing is ginormous. It is absolutely insane to think how large that thing is. And I'm just really surprised that for the scale that they were working at, that they weren't able to get it to look absolutely like near photorealistic for the amount of resolution that is present on a model like that. It just was very surprising to me. So I just feel like in terms of available cool Iron Man mech sets right now, there really isn't a good option for kids who just want to play with their actual Lego minifigures. So I just wanted to, bring this to you guys now because I feel like there's kind of a gap in the market for it. And hopefully, that kind of fulfills a need that a lot of people are wanting to have filled. So yeah, that's kind of the reason I wanted to get this out to you guys now. I know that everybody's always asking me, yeah, okay, but when is the Falcon coming? All that stuff, all my other projects are still underway. I just wanted to take a break and delve into this really quick, and I'm really glad I did. It was a really fun little project. So yeah, this is a cool set, by the way. just FYI. It's missing a lot of parts right now because I stole them for this this thing right here, but this as a single action figure thing, I actually think this is worth buying on its own. Whether or not you ever want to put it into a gigantic Hulkbuster that sits with that, I think on its own the set has a lot of merit. It's cool. So just a little aside for that, just to kind of plug this product. I actually was very pleasantly surprised when I built it, how much I enjoyed it, especially the feet and the legs. I think they really nailed it. So. Kudos to LEGO for that one. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully all of you guys who are looking to build a minifigure scale diorama that has a epic Hulk versus Iron Man fight going on in somewhere in the set, this is something that you guys will be getting a kick out of. So do let me know down in the comments what you think. I'm currently making available this version, but I'm going to be doing the Rhodey, War Machine version, kind of conversion of this. We didn't actually ever see a War Machine version of the Hulkbuster in universe, but LEGO did do a set, so this headpiece does exist in dark bluish gray. So it's something that would be cool to have as an optional add-on. It's just going to have a couple of additional cannons and bells and whistles and things on it, as Tony Stark said. It's War Machine always has to trick his stuff out with a little bit of extra flash on the surface. So once that is completed, I'll be releasing those instructions alongside this one. And then also in the follow-up video, I'm going to be showing you not only how this scales relative to a Hulk Big Fig, but also I'm going to be showing you guys some additional add-ons, some kind of supplemental materials here that are going to go along with this set as well. One thing is I wanted to include the jackhammer arm, the go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Extra kind of attachment that he gets midway through the battle, and also the kind of hovering platform that flies off kind of in the safe in the distance, but just kind of ferries new parts to the Hulkbuster as it gets damaged. So those are two things that I want to do as a little kind of free add-on to this set. So if you go ahead and purchase the base set, you'll be able to get those for free when they come out. And yeah, that's just a fun little kind of add-on because yeah, this was definitely a really memorable scene from a not so great movie. Age of Ultron was, I think, relatively speaking, a low point in the MCU, but the whole kind of Hulkbuster section of it was absolutely fantastic and really like top tier blockbuster filmmaking there. So I'm glad to be able to kind of pay tribute to it with this, and yeah, and just kind of add in some extra elements from that scene that were memorable as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed taking a look at this with me today. I know I really enjoyed it as well, and I would love to maybe try doing some kind of stop motion or something with this because it's really posable and really fun. But well, we'll see how I do. But yeah, look out for the follow-up if you guys get a kick out of this one. And yeah, that's all I have today. So thanks you guys. I'll see you on the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think, and tell me your MCU rankings. Those are always fun to see, and I'll see you on the next video.